Welcome to the recap of the match between Envyus and Ninjas in Pyjamas on nuke of the ESL Pro League Season 4, with both teams starting with a stand-in. Disco Toplin for Bith on NiP's side, as well as Sixer for Devil on Envyus' side. The Swedes started on the T side, and a unique smoke allowed them to split A, accompanied by a well-timed flash. Envyus was flashed or out of position, and NiP secured the first round. The French fell short of an upset the following two rounds, meaning a swift 3-0 lead for their opponents. NiP tried to take control over outside with the help of a smoke wall, but didn't get it for free as Kenny S found a sick pick over the smoke with his glass cannon. A fast exchange at Squeaky left the Swedish side down a man, and the ensuing secret push got slaughtered, leaving Forrest in a 1 vs 4 he had no chance to win. The next round was almost a carbon copy. NiP again smoking the outside area, Kenny S once again gets the first pick. Much like the last round as well, the French were well in position to deny the secret push into B and scored their second round. The Swedish side decided to keep pushing and invested all their money into force buy with only 2 AKs. Their A execute proved successful though, showing the effectiveness of the well-placed nades. Even though NiP lost one member to a team kill, Envyus was just not able to retake in a 3 vs 3. The Frenchman had 2 members who couldn't afford to buy and decided to take the safe approach at eco, which allowed NiP to extend the lead to 5-2. Although the buy wasn't perfect on Envyus' side, Kenny S was back on his trusted AWP. NiP once more smoked off outside, pushing 4 players into secret while leaving the lurk at Squeaky. This time Kenny S was well in position and decimated the attackers with his 4k hold, leaving Getright in an unwinnable 1 vs 4. Round number 9 was a crucial one as both teams had no economy developed, spending almost everything in their bank. The Swedes kept repeating their smoke setup in yard, however now they had 4 players on A and a single one pushing into secret. NiP opted for a vent drop strategy, but Apex was hard on the heels, leaving them in a 3 vs 5 on B. Freiburg turned around the other way as he answered with a solid 3k, suddenly leaving Envyus down a man unable to regain control. The ensuing eco of the French did good damage to NiP's economy, only leaving 2 alive. As a result, the next round saw once again both teams with not a perfect buy. Getright was able to open the round for his team, surprising Apex through Squeaky. Kenny S found a way, holding outside. The NiP once again smoked to equalize into 4 vs 4. An exchange of frags left the French one man down, and the attackers closed out the round, allowing Sixer to save an AK. The rest of his team had to eco, and NiP got up to a 9-3 lead. It took until round 13 for Envy to finally have a full buy with everything they could want. NiP again relied on the true and tested outside smokes. This time however, Kenny also was able to get 2 picks for his team. A quick trade left the Swedes one man down, and even though they eventually found Kenny, Sixer and NBK denied them the round win. Unluckily for the French, the attackers gave them no chance to win a second round in succession, as Forrest hit a stunning entry onto A and a fast push onto the side left Envy in a 2-man deficit. With no opening into the round, Happy was happy to save his M4 for the last round. Their economy shattered, the defenders bought whatever they could. NiP, like almost every round, smoked outside. However, they proceeded from there on to fake A into a ramp push, allowing them an equal trade into 4 vs 4. Envy was in position on B though, and an open brawl followed that the French squad could eventually decide for them, allowing them to get up to at last 5 rounds, trailing NiP's 10. Envy's pistol round was interesting to say the least, but the run through ramp to hell to outside got them nowhere, and the Swedes came out on top on the back and forth of trading of frags. Happy was happy to get the bomb planted in a 1 vs 2, but Forrest was too close for anything else to happen. NiP was able to fend off the force buy by the attackers, granting them to pick up the anti-eco afterwards as well. The first buy vs buy round of the second half saw the attacking side taking outside control, although without proper smoke setup. The resulting A main control allowed Apex with the help of a well-timed flash to pick up 2 important entries, and a third frag for him meant a 2 vs 5 situation for NiP. Envyus didn't let them save either, hunting down the remaining 2. The Swedes could just about buy, and surprisingly it would be Getright opening outside. What would considered a choke by most turned out to be a good decision as he opened up the round by getting the first pick, and even though NBK traded on ramp into 4 vs 4, Getright rotated into position and traded 2 for 1 for a total of 3 frags. The time he bought was enough, and the defenders were well in position to close out the round. Envy were strained for cash another time and opted to force, being left with 1 AK and 1 Galil. Their vent drop wasn't successful, especially as they missed the smoke that should cover them. As a result, a 2 vs 4 afterplant followed, and the Swedes made no mistakes and secured themselves the match point. Desperate for a round, the French tried the luck at an A split over outside. However, Getright was in position to give his team the 1-man advantage. The ensuing push onto the side ended in frags going back and forth, but the Swedish side eventually closed the round. NiP's T side especially looked very drilled and their utility use was on point. Not so much can be said about the defense though, as quite frankly Envy posed not much of a threat. Interestingly, both teams mostly neglected ramp, which should make future matches interesting as there is room for improvement. All in all, it was pretty much a slaughter by the Swedish side that Happy definitely wasn't happy about. But then again, it can't be asked how much of a benchmark the French squad currently is, especially with a short-term stand-in. Thank you for watching CS Recap.